And we are live. Sunday Service, episode number 24, coming in hot. UFC Sphere to talk about last night. Merab breaking through, crushing the dreams, crushing all hope for the bantamweight division moving forward, crushing everything last night. Was Merab and Valentina Shevchenko. The performances they put on in those two fights could have just ruined the Sphere card because it was looking amazing. That card was looking amazing. The fights were out of this world entertaining. Crazy fights. I know the Mexicans were looking terrible. The Mexicans sucked. They went 2-6 on the night, but it didn't matter because if you're just the regular fan and you're watching, you saw a bunch of really good fights, and then you get to the last two fights, and you're like, okay, this is where it gets even better. Championship fights. And they were absolute snoozers. Absolute snoozers, boys. It was a rough night. Rough way to end the night. Just having those two fights. It sucked. Obviously cool if you wanted one guy or girl to win. Then you're happy there. Maybe you're hurting a little bit more if you're on the other side. But overall, man, I thought the Sphere was pretty cool. We'll talk about that a little bit, but just kind of lay out the landscape. We'll talk about some future matchups. What's next for Sean O'Malley? That's probably the biggest question. Where does Sean O'Malley go from here? Because we kind of know what Umar is getting. But O'Malley's a big one. Does anyone really care about who's next for Valentina Shevchenko? I don't know. But we can go over that if everybody wants me to. Mad Dodger in the IG chat. What's going on? People joining the IG in the YouTube chat. I appreciate y'all for joining me on this Sunday night, Sunday Service episode number 24. I got the Wi-Fi fixed. So if you joined last week's show, this week's show should be a lot better. We shouldn't have any connection interruptions. Let's knock on wood. And I was actually thinking about it before I started the show because the title of that live was Sean O'Malley KO's Merab stiff. And I'm like, okay, I was getting connection issues. Maybe the universe was trying to tell me something to get off of that train. Something was going on there. The universe was trying to tell me, no. Sean's not going to KO Merab. Okay, Merab's going to win because it didn't want me to do the live stream because the connection kept cutting out. Mad Dodger in the IG chat. 48-47 is crazy. I'm just wondering what the second round O'Malley won was. I think the round 3 and round 5 could have went to him pretty easily, honestly. We'll talk about that, though, when we go over the main event because the title of this one is Merab did not dominate O'Malley. And I'm here to tell you why, because it was a win for Merab, no doubt about it, but it really was closer than Merab should have left it. If you know the bias that's going to be towards O'Malley, I feel like he should have stepped on the gas a little bit in a lot of those situations. All right, YouTube chat. What's going on, fellas? MMA Short Talk. O'Malley will be back. Yes, he will. He will. Hey, Job, do you think you could sleep Yasmin? I think I could sleep Yasmin with a sneeze, bro. I think I could literally just sneeze, go, and she might fall over. I've never seen a worse chin in women's MMA. It's pretty crazy. Unless she's a good fighter, too. That's the bad part about it. Like, she's a good fighter, but she just doesn't have a chin, or at least she doesn't have the ability to see a punch coming, maybe. Maybe she's got eyesight problems. She doesn't see the punch coming and then whack, and she goes down. We'll see. Waiting on the Contender Series video after this. Yeah, bro, I watched a bunch of film today, and I got to do a little bit more of a deep dive into some of these guys that have very little film out there, and then I'll put a video together. I'll put it out. But Contender Series is always fun. We're on a roll on Contender Series too. Underdog card. Someone who picked underdogs make bank. I'm trying to think. So I guess Merab was technically a slight underdog. Valentina was a slight underdog. Hebovic's underdog. Norma Dumont was a slight underdog. Souza was an underdog. Ignacio. Yeah. Underdogs. I mean, that's 5 right there. Underdogs came through. Underdogs did come through. So props to you if you caught those. A lot of those were pretty 50-50 though. Pick 'em price tags. So you probably didn't win a ton. But if you got the women, the Souza KO, I guess all women's underdogs came through, I think. How much money did I lose? I really didn't lose that much money. Because I had a ton of plays on DFS with O'Malley under on significant strikes. So that pretty much just covered anything I lost on the O'Malley money line. And we actually made a good amount of money on Merab with on the Underdog Fantasy app as well. The card overall delivered. Hebovix versus El Huber was fight. That fight was nuts. I knew that fight was going to be sick, but it actually was better than I thought. Like, I knew they were going to go out there and scrap. And I was like, this is probably going to go 3 rounds, and it's going to be a high-paced, high-volume striking affair. Nobody's going to shoot a takedown. And I knew it was going to be good. But that was better than I actually thought it was going to be. I love both of those guys. Those guys are crazy, crazy good fighters, crazy tough, crazy cardio. Like, Hebovix, for one, I met Hebovix at the PFL in Hollywood, and he's not that big of a guy, but his head is massive, bro. His head is massive, and he's just got this will and determination to just keep coming forward, because he was much smaller than Zell Huber in there, but he didn't give a fuck. He just kept coming forward. Whack, 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 whack. Just those combinations he has, it kind of reminds me of a Poirier, bro. Like, the way he gets into the pocket and he just unleashes so effortlessly. His arms are so loose. That's how you know you're a good puncher. Your arms are so loose. Just whack, 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 up to the chin, down to the body, 2 to the body, up to the upstairs. It's crazy, bro. I love that guy. I would even go as far to say fight of the year. I would not argue with that. I would not. Lazy Boy should have been submitted round 1, bro. Lazy Boy should have been submitted or knocked out. He was knocked out and pretty much submitted. I don't know how he survived, but he's a tough motherfucker. Sean Sandhagen's what you want next. I'll be down for that. Joshua Van's a dog. Gayest card ever witnessed, even though I made money. All right. Richard really wants to know how much money I lost. I actually don't think I lost more than a couple $100 in the grand scheme of things. So it really wasn't that bad. The card was sick. Then 2 fighters from the brother region ruined everything. Oh, man. Paul, what's going on, brother? Haregi Aldana, Grasso, and Sean. Oof, that's a rough one. Kendrick was there. Shout out Kendrick. Bahamondes, crazy good performance from Bahamondes. That step back right, that's really nice. That's really nice. Not something I've seen in his arsenal in past fights, but for him to pull it out in that fight made all the sense in the world to do. It was a really nice performance from him. Thoughts on Matty betting Sean by sub? I mean, if you're going to be upset at him for betting Sean by sub, I don't blame him, because he's a guy that likes the long shot props. And it's a plus 2,200 prop or whatever. So you only have to hit 1 out of every 21 times to be profitable. So he could make that bet 21 more times throughout Sean O'Malley's career, and he might get a sub, and then it's profitable, because that number is always going to be big. And you got to figure Merab's going to be shooting the takedowns that he does. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. So it's not that bad, honestly, in the grand scheme of things. It's a number play. It's not like, oh my God, this is 100% going to happen. O'Malley's going to sub him. No. Mexicans are supposed to have giga chins, but that Mexican woman has a worse chin than Matt Schnell getting KO'd by woman strawweight. Mr. Toad on her ass, bro. Rob was boring. He could have at least did ground and pound like Cheeto did to Sean. Dude just went for time control. Yeah, I think he just... We'll talk about that. Let's actually get into that, man. Let's get into the main event. I'll give you my assessment of it, because I see a lot of people saying that Merab dominated him and O'Malley's wrestling sucks. And O'Malley, I would say, I got his Inachino in, so I got to sip a little bit. I will say, O'Malley looked flat on the walkout. He looked flat on the walkout, like he didn't have a lot of energy. He didn't look like he was super confident going in there. Like he looked flat, but that also could just be like composure. He could have just been composed. But when he went out there, I think his mind was fucked, which is crazy to say because the last person I would expect to have fight IQ would be Merab. But Merab actually went out there and made O'Malley not know what to do. Because Merab, at the beginning of every round, if you go back and watch it, at the beginning of every round, Merab would literally just do nothing. He just did nothing. He would just dance around the cage with his hands like this, just bouncing up and down, not really throwing anything, not engaging at all. And to the point where O'Malley's frustrated, where O'Malley can't really get into a rhythm. He can't get his feet going to a point where he can feel good to step and plant. He was reaching a lot. O'Malley was reaching a lot on a lot of these punches, having to touch the body. And then to the point where we get 2.5 minutes into the round, Merab starts to pressure a little bit. He'll be in and out. And then at the right moment, he would time his entry, get the takedown, and then ultimately just win the last part of the round. So nothing happens for the first half, and then he'd win the last half with a takedown, holding him there, throwing these knees. That's how he won round one. Round two, he does the same thing, but he does it a little bit more dominantly. Round three, he does the same thing, but isn't as successful with the takedown. I think he only had a minute of control time on the ground. Let me just take a look at these. Yeah, less than a minute of control time. Didn't land a single takedown. And I thought O'Malley probably won round three just based on the damage. Because Merab's not landing really anything of significance. And O'Malley is the one that's landing a little bit more of significance. Round four is the same thing. First minute, just bouncing around. All he did was he just basically said, I'm not going to engage with you in anything on the feet, which is not what he's done in his past fights. If you look at any of Merab's last fights, he just goes. There's nothing going on right here. It's just go. Throw wild punches on the feet, shoot takedowns over and over and over again. This fight, he just said, I'm not going to do anything on the feet. And once I get my opening, I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to hold you there. I'm going to take you down, hold you there, and put you in positions to where I'm heavier than you on top. I'm a better wrestler than you, and you're going to start to fatigue when I'm on top of you. It was the right game plan. I can't knock him for it, but that was the right game plan to do. Because if he does fight like he did in the past, where it's a bunch of these wild shots up top, high volume on the feet with takedown over takedown, that's just more opportunities for O'Malley to land the knockout blow. But he took that away. He's like, I'm not going to give you that opportunity. So smart for Merab. And I think O'Malley was just like, I don't know what to do. This guy's fighting nothing like I've seen him fight in the past. I can't get into any type of rhythm because he's not allowing me to touch him on the feet. He's just literally bouncing around the outside, not engaging. And then when he does engage, he's already in on my hips and I'm on my back. So I think Merab was just had the better game plan. Merab had the better game plan, which is nuts. And I think Sean was just mind fucked and he just didn't know what to do. And at that point, it was just too late. Once he gets to the fifth round, I think he hit him with that nice front kick to the body, and Merab kind of winced a little bit. But in round five, he's too tired. He's already gone through 4 rounds of Merab trying to lay on him, wearing him out. He didn't have the gas tank to really follow up on it with anything. So I personally thought O'Malley could have won round 3 and round 5. And then round 1, if you want to be super biased towards O'Malley, like if the fix was in, they could have gave O'Malley round 1. But I thought Merab definitely won at least 3 rounds. And he should have got his hand raised. So props to Merab, man. Props to Merab because He had the right game plan. Like, he didn't do what Aljo did, which was rush in and give Sean the opportunity to counter-strike, which is what he does best. So he learned from his buddy's mistakes. Merab didn't bully Sean, but Merab dominated him with control. Yeah, I mean, it's probably true. I mean, 10 minutes of control time. It's almost half the fight, so you could say that. That kiss on the back. How about, let's just talk about that. What the fuck was that, dude? That was wild. First of all, Merab yelling at the corner. Idiot move. Absolute idiot move. Yelling at the corner because I guess the corner, Tim Welch, was like saying something to him or saying something to his corner. And then he kissed him on the back, got up with, there was like 5 seconds left, got up and turned around, and O'Malley got up right away and nearly socked him in the face. Stupid stuff. Herb Dean, shout out to Herb Dean. Herb Dean, holy shit. They must have been like, Herb, we don't want none of this controlling stuff on the ground. Anytime they're on the ground and Merab's just holding on to him, you better talk to him. Because Herb was literally like, Merab, you got to start working. Get back. You got to work. You got to work. Otherwise, I'm going to stand you up so you can get KO'd. Herb Dean, bro. Herb Dean was on one last night. He wanted to see some violence. He was not ready for that. He was like, this is the Sphere card. This is a Sphere card. People paid thousands of dollars. Dana White spent $20 million. We're not here to watch you hold onto Sean on the ground. You better get up or you better start punching him in the face. Valentina put O'Malley to sleep. Honestly, there's got to be something to that. Like, Valentina sucked the energy out of the room, bro. Out of the entire arena. And then you got to go out there and fight for a world title. And it's, I mean, on the East Coast, it was like 2 a.m. I know in Vegas, it's what? Midnight? 11 o'clock, whatever. So I guess it's not too late, but damn. You think Umar beats O'Malley, but people are using this fight to say old man Cejudo beats him. Yeah, I don't think Cejudo beats him. Umar would probably beat O'Malley, though. I would agree with that. 1 leg away from cashing a 7-leg 34x parlay. O'Malley sold. Bad dude had no answer for Merab's pressure. That's a tough one, bro. It's a tough one. Should have hedged, low key. How do you feel when Tim told O'Malley after round 4, it's almost over, bud? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It's almost over. Like, what could he mean there? Like, it's almost over. He could mean like it's almost over. I'm trying to think of like positives with this because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good, right? But he could mean like it's almost over. You got to go. Like, it's almost over, man. You got to go out there and find a finish in round 5. I don't know. Who wins, Diego versus Volk? 5 rounds? Oh, God. You know what? Oh, God. Diego versus Volk? I mean, shit, man. With Volk's chin at this point, it might be Diego round 1 KO. It might be Diego round 1 KO. Because initially I thought 5 rounds Volk could probably beat him. But Diego is so dangerous in round 1. And he's aggressive in round 1. He's bigger than Volk. It might be Diego round 1 KO. Low key. I don't even want to see it, bro. I don't want to see it, but that's a solid fight to make. I'm not kidding. Everybody knew that Merab's game plan would be. I gave Sean rounds 1 and 5. Wow. You see? You gave him 2 rounds. James, what's going on, brother? How do you feel about Tim talking shit to Merab? I loved it. I loved it. I don't know why that isn't, or why that's a rule that you can't do that. Seems kind of stupid to me. But I love it. I'm about it. O'Malley choked. Everything was set up for him to win. All he had to do was make it close, and he gets the nod. That's kind of true. He really did. All he had to do was make it close. And he kind of did, but he could have gave a little bit more. I feel like if O'Malley wasn't so hesitant in those rounds that were close, like 1, 3, and 5, if he wasn't so hesitant, if he put a little bit more of a stamp on it, he actually could have won. Which is, it's pretty crazy to say. But you're right. I mean, everything was set up for him to win. He just had to make it close. What do you think? Who would win between Merab and Umar? I think Umar would win. Because his wrestling is like 100 times better than Sean's. And not that I don't think Merab wouldn't have a chance, but I think Umar's anti-wrestling would just be a lot better, to the point where Merab wouldn't have success with the takedowns. And I think Umar's striking is really solid, that I think he would be able to make Merab pay. Because there's a ton of holes. There's a lot of holes in Merab's stand-up game. So if you take away the takedown, he's going to get hit on the feet. And I think Umar, with his anti-wrestling, could be able to stuff those takedowns. As long as his cardio holds up, I think he'd be able to beat Merab. Grasso didn't do shit. That is facts, bro. Grasso looked terrible. Diego Lopez versus Islam. Wrong weight class, brother. I'm sorry. But, yeah, no. Wrong weight class. Your advice helped me win with Hevavix. You're welcome, brother. I don't know if it's Hevavix or Ribavix, but did I watch the Canelo fight? No, I did not. But I know he won by decision, which, congrats. When Islam and Arman fight, who will you root for? Probably whoever I bet on, which I don't know who I'll bet on, honestly. I'd probably have to look at it a little bit more, watch a little bit more film. But I'd probably say Islam wins at this point. Sugar versus Sandman next. I think that's got to be it, bro. I think that's got to be it. So what is next for Sean O'Malley? I think Sean, let's just take a look at the rankings. Not that it really matters, because they're going to make whatever they want to do, but look at the rankings. So Corey's number 4. They're going to do Merab versus Umar next, most likely. I think Jan and Figgy is going to happen. I think that's the case. I mean, I would love to see Sean versus Corey, but I actually think Corey could be a tough matchup, because Corey's wrestling is really good too. And I could see a path where Corey's just like, I'm going to wrestle you. So I like the fight. I really do. But that is not an easy fight for Sean. Ortega has one hell of a chin. That is facts. I don't know how he didn't go out with that when he got hit with that right. It almost looked like when Diego clipped him with the right, he like knocked him out, and then he hit him with a left hook, and it like woke him up when he was mid drop. He got dropped with the right, and he was falling to the ground, and then he got hit with that left hook by Diego, and it looks like it woke him up. But Ortega is just so hittable, man. It's not good. I thought Sugar would strike more. He didn't think. I don't know why he didn't think. He didn't. I think he was scared. He kicked Merab, would grab his leg. Yeah, that's probably it. Lopez Taporia, who wins? Taporia beats him, bro. There's no doubt in my mind Taporia beats him. Sugar Yan rematch could happen too. Yeah, I could see that. That would be sick. That would be awesome. UFC plan is probably to have O'Malley beat Corey or Cejudo, then have him fight Umar for the belt. Low key, Mr. Toad, you might be onto something, and I would probably say they do Sean versus Cejudo, which is stupid, because Cejudo He's lost 2 fights since he came back. Does he really get the fight up in the rankings? I don't know. But you're probably right. They probably want to get him a win and then have him fight Umar for the belt. What do you think is next for Diego? Diego. I mean, it's probably Volk, maybe Yair. I could even see an Arnold Allen type of thing. There's a lot of options for Diego. So, I mean, I just love watching Diego fight. Joel Alvarez, Ivovix, and Ignacio. Which one of them deserve to fight top 15 opponent? I think you got to go with Joel Alvarez. I think you got to go with him. All wins by finish. He's fought some good guys. I think you got to go Yoel. Thoughts on Lazy Boy almost dying in the first round and winning the decision? Let's just say O'Day Osborne is not a good fighter. And I think we saw the level that Ronaldo Rodriguez is. I think Ronaldo is a tough motherfucker, but his skills are not that great. And the only way he was able to win that fight is his durability. Like he was not better skill for skill than O'Day. O'Day had the better striking. O'Day just has no takedown defense and a very poor ground game. He should have been able to lock up that triangle choke and finish him. And then his cardio is not very good either. So I think Ronaldo just won that fight based on pure willpower. Rigos, appreciate you for the dono. Herb got in the way after Merab turned his back. Dude, he kind of did. If Herb doesn't get in the way and O'Malley's able to be there and like land a fucking big shot, can you imagine? Imagine he knocked him out. Like Merab kisses him on the back, gets up, and then O'Malley gets up right away and knocks him out. That would have been the craziest ending to a title fight in history. Who do you think is next for Grasso? Let's talk about Grasso. So let's talk about the co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko was always the better fighter. Valentina was always the better fighter. This notion that like Alexa Grasso is some girl that should be champion for a long time, I never bought into. Because number one, she was losing the first fight against Valentina. She won on a submission. Good for her. But she was a huge underdog in that fight for a good reason. The second fight, Valentina was winning the fight. She won the fight. She wins whenever she goes for takedowns. Why? Because Alexa Grasso has no takedown defense, and her jiu-jitsu off her back is solid, but it's not like a Diego Lopez where she could sub you off her back. You know, she might have Diego Lopez in her corner, but she ain't Diego Lopez. So she has no takedown defense, and she's just not very physically strong. We saw last night, Valentina knew she could just take her down and win every round. And she just decided to do that. It's the same thing with Merab. Like Merab just decided he's not going to strike with O'Malley and only wrestle. That's the game plan. That would win him the fight most easily. He went with that. He won. What's the game plan with Shevchenko that could win her the fight most easily? Just take down Alexa Grasso, lay in her guard, because Alexa Grasso has no takedown defense, and she has some submissions in her bag, but it's going to be tough to submit somebody off your back in a championship title fight. That's just what it came down to. So what's next for Alexa Grasso? She's got to go back and fight probably a girl like a Macy Barber or something like that. Because right now, Manon Fiorot is going to fight Shevchenko for the belt next. I don't think Macy Barber has a fight. I know Blanchfield and Rose are fighting. I think you do Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. I think that's probably the best fight to make after last night. And Macy could probably just take her down too. So, I mean, Alexa, that's just a big flaw in her game that she needs to get figured out. Because on the feet, I think Alexa Grasso has really solid boxing, but Shevchenko just didn't allow her to get anything off on the feet. Like she was tagging her on the feet because Alexa was scared of the takedown, and then she would just go for the takedown and get it. So that's that. Jan beats Merab in a rematch. I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know about that one. You got to tell me what you're seeing that I'm not, but I don't think Merab loses to Jan. I know Dana said the Sphere is a one and done thing, but honestly, do you think they're going to go back to it? Great question, James, because we got to talk about that. I don't know, but the way that the commentators were talking last night, like Anik, DC, Rogan, they were like, how are we ever supposed to go back to a normal pay-per-view? How are we ever supposed to do this? And I'm kind of with them, bro. Like, to have that screen there, that screen was sick. Like the introduction, the build up to every fight was sick. I thought the Sphere itself was actually, it was amazing. It was amazing. The backdrop that they have, it was unbelievable. The scenes that the Sphere could bring into the fight, like counting out all the movies that they had or whatever, that's great and all. Obviously, they're not going to reproduce that or whatever. But like the huge screen in the background of the octagon with like just the massive guys with the matchup right before it, I thought that looked sick. And honestly, I was thinking while I was watching it, I feel like they're going to put, like Dana's going to build something like this or like implement something like this into either a new arena. It almost seems like the UFC needs a Sphere like that to where they can hold events like that on a regular basis. Like they need something like that to stand out a little bit. Not that they need it, but it was just so sick that it's going to be hard to go back to normal pay-per-views. And I was actually thinking, like, would it be crazy? Because the UFC loves their Apex cards, right? And they're remodeling the Apex. Would it be crazy if they put like a mini Sphere replica in the Apex? Not to the point where it's like the Sphere, but they just put one of those huge screens in the backdrop of like the Apex to where you can watch it on TV, and they have that type of thing. Because they're redoing the Apex right now. And I'm kind of thinking that they're like, we need to take a little bit something to amp up these Apex cards. So if they made like a little bit of a replica of the Sphere in the Apex, that would make the Apex a little bit better. Just a thought. I don't know if they're going to go back to it, though. I don't know. I would love for them to do it. But yeah, it's just cost so much money. And I watched the press conference last night, and they said something about July 4th, like a American themed card or whatever. As an American, I think that would be pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. At the Sphere, that'd be awesome. I would go to it. Bahamondes, Jalen Turner would be fun. I agree. That's good matchup. We also have Nasrat and Drakkar Close, who are on winning streaks that are not talked about. I would say Drakkar more over Nasrat, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of rushing Lopez to a title fight. He's only 29. Max Deporia probably beat him bad. Yeah, I agree. He shouldn't be rushed, but he should get another top opponent in his next fight. Hebix versus Bahamondes. That could also be sick. Next upset, Khalil Roundtree knocks out Alex Pereira. You heard it here first from Mr. Parlay Piece. Wow. Hot take. Grasso should going on the show for 6 to 7 months. Grasso got to go to Dagestan, bro. She got to go to Dagestan and get some wrestling in her bag. Otherwise, she's going to get screwed by like Blanchfield. She's going to get screwed by Macy Barber. Probably not Blanchfield. Blanchfield's takedowns really aren't that great. But Barber got some pretty solid takedowns, and she's very physical. Torres, Brenner, Daniel Zahuber, Drew Dober. Anakin coming in hot with the matchups, bro. Whew. I like those. I thought maybe give Barber the rematch with Alexa, but not do Barber and Natalia. I kind of like. I think Alexa Barber probably makes more sense. I know Natalia. I like Natalia, and I think Natalia could probably face like the loser of Blanchfield and Nama Yunus. That kind of makes sense. And then if she wins that, maybe you get her in a title shot. We'll see. For how long it took them to make another title fight, it really just screwed the entire division. Rigos with the dono again. I appreciate you, brother. Zhang, double champ incoming. Maybe, but she's pretty small. I would like her to eventually, if she keeps dominating at 115, I would like to see her at 125 just to see. But she's got some matchups, man. She's got to fight Tatiana Suarez. She's got to fight Verna Jandiroba. Shout out to Verna. Big Vern. Big Norm. Shout out to Big Norm, bro. Big Norm, big dub this weekend. You could make Grasso and Natalia Silva too. I wouldn't be mad about that. That's crazy, bro. Too much cake. Think Macy Barber lost to Grasso already? Yeah, I mean, she wants to get it back. She wants to get it back, man. She wants to get it back. It was a long time ago, though. 3 years. 3 years is a long time. Macy's on a nice streak, so Jan got absolutely ragdolled, bro. I don't know that he would beat Merab in a rematch. The next Sphere event might sell more now that everyone knows how cool it was. Yeah, I would like to talk to somebody that was at the Sphere just to see how cool it was in person. If those chairs that like vibrate when a big punch gets landed or whatever, if that actually like worked well. But on TV, it looked sick. My only thing was when I was watching it and you could see the camera angles, the octagon looked so small. And you're basically on top of it. Like you're on top of the octagon. So you're looking down onto the octagon. And that's just not a great view. Like I've been in the nosebleeds in an arena before. Like to where my back is pretty much up against the wall. Way up there. It's a terrible view, man. It's a terrible view. So you're probably not really watching the fights live there. You're probably watching the screen. But maybe it's worth it. Yeah, Merab, Bilal, DDP. I should start a channel. I explained in great details on how they will get it done. And my predictions were correct. I should start a channel. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Lost a few units, but the show was awesome. Plus, I knew I had a couple of weeks off and could go back to being much tighter and focused. Yeah, we got a week off. No UFC this weekend, so that sucks. But we got Contender Series on Tuesday, which is nice. And then we got a Paris card the weekend after. So that's a good card. Looking forward to that. Money Moicano and Benoit Saint-Denis. That's a good card, actually. Nasruddin and Imavov. Good fight. For a fight night. That's for sure. Better than the Apex. What's next for Chi Wee-Wees? Chi Wee-Wees sucked it up last night. Chi Wee-Wees sucked it up. But I think it came out that he had like a couple injuries going into that one. And he probably would have pulled out if it wasn't at the Sphere, considering the circumstances. So he goes out there, he beats Arichi Lang. It was not a great performance from Chi Wee-Wees, man. Not a great performance. It honestly looked to me like he wanted to like work on his striking. Because if you looked at round one, he took him down easily, took his back. And then the next round, he didn't really shoot a takedown with full effort. He kind of just stood and struck with him. And then round three, standing and striked with him for half the round and then took him down. So maybe the injuries impacted his explosiveness to try to get those takedowns. But not a great performance for Chi Wee-Wees. I mean, you probably just got to give him another can at this point. I mean, they've been kind of giving him cans. You probably just got to keep it that way. He's still young. And he's got to go into fights healthy, man. You just can't go into fights with injuries, especially being that young. You know, you're You don't need to fight all the time when you're that young. Just improve your skills, stay healthy, take care of your body. So it doesn't really need to come back too soon, honestly. We saw Aldana's skull on live television in 1080p. That was disgusting. That was disgusting, man. Shout out to Big Norm, though. Shout out to Big Norm, because I thought she was going to go into that fight and just take down Aldana, because if you look at Aldana, Aldana is kind of like Grasso. She has no takedown defense. If you get in on her hips, she's going down. And I thought Aldana, with how much power she's got in those legs, was just going to muscle her up and take her down. But she outstruck her for 3 rounds, man. I don't think I've ever seen that from Norma before. Big Norm ain't done that ever. And that's a big improvement from Big Norm. She beat the piss out of Aldana. Aldana was struggling. She was struggling. I could not believe. There was a slow motion where you see the split on her forehead to her nose. Norma landed like a jab, and it literally just opened it up. Like almost, so gross. Aldana's in a war every time I see her fights. Yeah, it's because she's very hittable. She's very hittable, and she ain't going to take you down. So if you don't take her down, she's going to be there to get hit. But yeah, shout out to Aldana. She's a fun fighter to watch because she takes a beating. A beating. But she can also give a beating. She just didn't do it last night because Big Norm is Big Norm, bro. World by Diego Ferreira. Solid matchup. Kind of you just throwing matchups in here, Anakin. I see it. I see you, bro. I see you. Big Davey in the IG chat. Can't wait to see Roofy fight. Me too. When is he going to fight again? Does he have a fight scheduled? Paris Card is sick. Hyped to see that Brito guys who's been finishing everyone after he dominated Diego on Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, bro. Joe Anderson Brito's been I've been a big fan of Brito for a while. Who's he fighting again? I forget who he's fighting. But I know his matchup that he's got is, I don't think it's an easy one. I forget who it is, though. If he wins, I would like to see him Bobby Green or Drew Dober, top 15. Definitely did not dominate O'Malley. Huevos MMA. Get out of here, bro. Osborne was a robbery. Mexicans had to get one. I'll just tell you that, Devin. Mexicans had to get one. I don't see high expectations of Lazy Boy either, to be honest. He would lose to Charles Johnson. No doubt in my mind he would lose to Charles Johnson easily. Charles Johnson would whoop that ass, bro. He would whoop that ass. People don't want to see Lopez versus Movzar rematch now that Movzar would smoke him. What would he smoke him by? Smoke him by decision? Oh, God. Movzar is going to shoot a takedown. Oh, he's going to smoke me. Come on now. Both Yoel Alvarez and Orbach beats Elvis Brenner. Why is Alvarez treated better than Orbach? And if Orbach wins at UFC 308, who would you see him face next? I'm not saying that you treat one better than the other, but Yoel's been in the UFC for a little bit longer. All wins by finish. So that's what I would say. That's the only reason. Who does he fight on 309? Drop it in the chat, please. I would love to know. Or I could just look it up, but I'm sure you guys probably know. Oh, Brito's fighting Gomi. That's who it is. Yeah, the thing is, like, I think William Gomi's pretty solid. But if Brito can make it a dog fight and he can come forward, he wins. But William Gomi's not bad. He's a sharp striker, tall dude, keeps his range well, keeps the fight boring, which is good for him. But if the fight gets exciting, then you know Brito is doing something well. Movzar will take Lopez down for 3 rounds. He'll take him down for 3 rounds, man. That sucks. But he would probably do it. Hubbard said He's not fighting Nate the Train. So if I had to guess, they might give him Roofy. Interesting. The 5-man was so close, man. The 5-man, if O'Day Osborne knows how to finish a triangle choke, the 5-man slaps last night. I felt so good about that slip. I felt so good about that. And O'Day nearly knocked him out, nearly subbed him in the first round. Round 2, Ronaldo gets on top of him. He's about to TKO him and then gives up position. Crazy stuff, man. I don't know how that fight went the distance because I thought O'Day would just crumble, but he didn't. Still think that Lopez is one of those BJJ guys with no takedown defense that gets stuck on bottom. Brito and Mozart already exposed that. I kind of do too, but the thing is, he was a jiu-jitsu guy throughout his come up. Like he was a jiu-jitsu guy with some okay stand-up, but you can see his stand-up is improving. His boxing is improving a lot. I think his work that he's done with Alexa Grasso's coach, boxing coach, just being around them, I think his stand-up is improving a lot. And we saw last night, like Brian Ortega, obviously the best path to victory at that point for Ortega, who's getting slapped on the feet, would probably be to take down Diego, and he couldn't do it. So I think his takedown defense is getting a little bit better. But obviously Diego feels comfortable off his back. Last night, they announced the UFC 309 card. They had Roofy on the prelims, but they kept the opponent box empty. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, 309 was announced. John Jones is back, guys. Gotta love it. We already knew it was going to happen. We didn't even talk about Charles and Michael Chandler, bro. Charles and Michael Chandler's happening on that card, too. Little rematch action. Little rematch. That fight, the first fight they had was pretty sick. Charles nearly got knocked out in round 1. You guys, we can't forget that. Charles nearly got knocked out in round 1 against Michael Chandler and survived and then knocked him out in round 2. So a lot of people are probably saying, this is an easy fight for Charles. He's going to run through Michael Chandler, but Michael Chandler's dangerous. Michael Chandler could beat anybody on any given night. And I'm sure with how long that he's had to sit out, he's going to come in there pretty pissed off, but the fight IQ is going to go out the window. He's going to be swinging big hooks. And right now, I think Charles might sub him. Right now, I think Charles might sub him. But Chandler is live for a KO. No doubt about that. Brian Ortega's striking prime was in the Chan Sung Jung and Volk fights. Looks like he doesn't even try the way he used to. The thing with Brian, I think Brian's just so weathered down. He's so weathered down, and he's really not that old. What is he, like 34? How old is Ortega? 33. Yeah, like Ortega just looks slow. He looks so much slower. I mean, he's never been a fast guy. He's never been a guy that really relied on like a ton of athleticism. But you could just see in the Diego Lopez fight, the speed disadvantage for Ortega. And if you look back one fight before that against Yair, same thing happened in the first round. Ortega's just so slow that Yair was landing anything he wanted on him. It's just, Diego's not a Yair where he can just get bitched on the ground. So I think Ortega's prime is definitely past him. He's just a little bit slower now. I don't think he can keep up with these younger guys that are explosive. And yeah, man, he's just so hittable, so slow. And for him to move up to 155, like the thing I've always thought with Brian Ortega is like, how are you not more muscular, bro? Like, how are you not more muscular? You're 5'8" at 145 pounds. Like Diego is taller than you. A lot more shredded than you. And you're having trouble making 145 that you want to move up to 155. Well, you're smaller than the guy that just beat you at 145. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how MMA fighters in general don't have like a six pack. How do you not have a six pack? How are you like soft bodied as an MMA fighter? I don't know. I've never understood that. This is your career is literally to be in the best shape that you can be in. Be the best fighter that you are. How do you not have abs? How are you soft bodied? Especially when you're cutting down in weight. You're cutting, 20 pounds or more. I feel like you should probably be showing some abs. You know? Do you do your sit-ups? You do your sprints? I don't know, man. I've never understood that. Only low weight divisions don't have abs? I mean, I'll look at a lot of low weight divisions. They pretty much all have abs. Got the gamer bod. It must be a diet thing. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I've never understood that about Brian Ortega. You're 5'8", which isn't huge for featherweight. It's not tall. It's not like super tall. Diego was 3 inches taller. At 5'8", you should be pretty put together with your body. You should be pretty physical. You should be pretty strong. You should have a lot of muscle. You should work on that at least. Never understood that. Middleweights have the worst physique. I mean, there's a lot of fat heavyweights out there. I'd probably say heavyweights have. There's very few heavyweights that look like a Cyril Gane is a guy that has a crazy good physique. Francis Ngannou, crazy good physique for heavyweights. Jailton Almeida. Middleweights, I would probably say no. I mean, there's a lot of good middleweight. I mean, Dricus is freaking shredded at middleweight. So I don't know, man. I feel like if you're an MMA fighter, you're a UFC fighter, your job is to be in the best shape that you can be in. So how do you not have abs? I feel like it's not that hard. It's not that hard. I'm back to feeling like Apex cards are safer to bet on. They might be. Honestly, I think I'm kind of with you, Parlay. Kind of with you. What does my top 5 fighters list say about me? 1, Islam. 2, Ilya. 3, Hamzat. 4, Aspinall. 5, Gaethje. Come on, bro. Come on. You're all over the place. What does that say about you? That means you're biased. You're biased. Not objective. You are very subjective to your bias because 3 being Hamzat, that's crazy. 5 being Gaethje, that's crazy. If you're talking about who's the best, that's kind of what I'm getting from here. If you're talking about who's the best, but if you're just saying like your favorite fighters, then okay. But Contender Series on Tuesday, my guy. Contender Series on Tuesday. Valentina exercised high fight IQ, and yes, I hate her for it yesterday. She chose to lay and pray and ruin the mood of the fight. She ruined the mood of the entire card. Honestly, she ruined a lot, but she got her belt back, so that's good for her. Not the best. Okay, you're top 5. That makes sense. That makes sense. Your top 5, meaning your fit top 5 favorite. Look at that. To me, that probably means you like well-rounded and you like guys that go for the finish. Well-rounded and guys that go for a finish. That's what it tells me. What flavor zins you got in? Citrus, my brother. Citrus all day. Take a look behind me, boys. Take a look at that Zin Tower. That Zin Tower is pretty nice, ain't it? Oh, yeah. You like that. Zin Tower's growing. Yeah, that was always a lie. That was always a lie. It was so on point, bro. It was so on point. Should have hit. Herb Dean, main event officiating. He was trying to get Merab knocked out, Kevin. He was really trying to get Merab knocked out. Spearman are they're nice. Spearman is nice. Any NFL picks for tomorrow? If I find some, I'll throw them in the Telegram. I pretty much took today off because last night was a long night, bro. Long night. Top 5 fighters you hate the most say about you. Aljo, Strickland, Connor, Hooker, and Bobby Green. That's pretty crazy that you hate Hooker. That probably tells you, or that probably says that you hate guys that you don't think deserve the praise. That's probably what I would say. Based on that list, I would probably say you hate guys that you don't think deserve the praise. Because Aljo had a good run. He won a lot of fights. And a lot of people say he's the bantamweight GOAT, but you probably disagree. Strickland, probably the same thing. Connor, definitely. Hooker, probably the same reason. And Bobby Green, I don't know. How is Pantoja not top 10, even though he has more title defenses than half of the people that are top 10? Probably just because it's flyweight and the division is pretty thin, I would say. No breakdown, just quick thoughts on the following parlay. BSD Battle, Ludovic parlay. Who does Brian Battle fight? Giussette? It's Giussette, I think it's Giussette. I mean, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. Although Moicano could ruin that. Moicano could. But that's not bad. Plus 210 is pretty solid. How did Merab not dominate? He doubled the strikes and control from top 40% of the fight. O'Malley's best round, he had 14 strikes. I don't know what I'm looking at on your profile picture, but very confused. How did he not dominate? Because he could have done a lot more. He could have done a lot more to dominate. And when I say that because he fought smart. He fought smart, meaning he didn't do anything on the feet. He literally just took the fight off on the feet, said, I'm not going to strike with you. I'm going to wait around, find my takedown, get the takedown, and win the round that way. So it wasn't a domination. He won the fight, but he didn't really dominate him. He dominated him in like 1 or 2 rounds, but then the other rounds, it really wasn't a domination. I hate Aljo and Strickland because they supported war on innocent children. Okay. So you hold the personal stuff at a high thing. You think Cheeto was just to prolong last night? Probably, honestly. Probably. Or maybe they just wanted to get O'Malley in there with somebody that they knew he would beat when the time was right. They're like, all right, we got to get at least one because eventually he's probably going to face one of these wrestlers in the bantamweight division. He could lose. Merab lost 2 rounds. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's not dominating. He lost 2 rounds. So, not going to lie, if Sean never landed that right hand, he would never have won the belt. That's pretty true. But you could say the same thing about Leon Edwards. If he never landed that head kick, he would never hold the belt. Same thing about a lot of guys. So should have been at the house on Merab when I seen Sean hanging out with Jake Paul. Guess what, boys? Let me know in the chat what you think about this. There's this thing out there called the 6ix9ine curse. And I just came up with it last night. The 6ix9ine curse. I noticed this. You look at the last 2 pay-per-views. Sean O'Malley, Merab, Dricus, Israel Adesanya. There's a common theme, okay? The 6'9" curse. The day of the fight, Sean O'Malley releases a hype tape before the fight. The song was by 6'9". The song choice was 6'9". Israel Adesanya, the day of the fight, releases a hype tape, a highlight reel hype tape. The song he chose was a 6'9" song. The 6'9" curse is real, boys. Any fighter out there, do not release a highlight reel on the day of your fight with a 6'9" song. You will lose. That's it. That's it. The 6'9" curse is real, man. You just can't put out a highlight reel with 6'9" on it. Otherwise, you're gonna lose. You shoot music videos for a living, and 6'9" is banned in every. I mean, I gotta say, the song that Sean chose was pretty sick. It made a lot of sense, but it was a 6'9" song, and that was an L. That was an L. I literally remembered when I watched it, I'm like, all right, this song is sick. It makes a lot of sense. Your boy got shot. He ain't coming back. Go get a gun and get your get back. Because he knocked out Sean, or he knocked out Aljo, and that's Merab's boy. But I'm like, I remember seeing Israel Adesanya released a hype tape before his fight with Dracus, and he lost, and it was a 6'9" song. So that was an L. The song choice was elite. I'm telling you, Keem, the song choice was elite because of the lyrics and the fact that he knocked out Aljo, which is Merab's buddy. But after he lost, the 6'9" curse is officially real. The 6'9" curse is real. It's 2-0. If another person does it, that's 3-0. And if I remember from like science class, you need 3 tests to make it valid. So it might be there. But I think Sean gets a rematch? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 6'9" got some bangers. I love me bumping some 6'9", bro. Gets me hyped. And I hate Hooker because he accused Islam of steroids for no reason without proofs. Same for Connor and Bobby. Well, did Hooker? I think Hooker just accused him of the IV. I don't think it was steroids, but I see you. Who saw the line reversal? Bookies knew something, saw something backstage. Could see that. Who do I think headlines December? I don't know, man. I have honestly no idea. No idea. I'm trying to think. Who could? December would have to be. December is going to be Vegas. I mean, I guess it would probably have to be like Armin and somebody else, but I'm not really sure. My thoughts on bare knuckle MMA, BKFC. BKFC is sick. If you watch BKFC, bro, holy crash, my guy. I'm looking at your profile picture. That's me, isn't it? That's me and you at the Hard Rock, bro. BKFC is sick, bro. I've been to a couple events, 2 events, I want to say. Yeah, I think I've been to 2. They're fun. They're fun. Shout out to you. Profile pic is me and the dog at the Hard Rock. We agree Ilya's going to smoke Alex? Yes, I do agree. I do kind of, or not Alex, Max. I do agree. He already smoked Alex. Way too excited for this fight night coming up. Said we have to wait a week. Moicano for life. I hope what kind of gets it done. It does suck. We got to wait, but good things come to those who wait. Whaley and Suarez will probably be sometime around December. Yeah, I would think so. I saw Tatiana and Patchy at the Hard Rock a few weeks ago at PFL. Sounded like they were working on Tatiana to get a title fight soon. So I would assume that does come. Bare Knuckle MMA Jorge Masvidal promotion. Oh, Bare Knuckle MMA. It can get pretty dicey, man. Bare Knuckle MMA is crazy. Bare Knuckle boxing makes a little bit more sense, but Bare Knuckle MMA is wild. Seen some bloody ones in Bare Knuckle MMA. There is no way Leon's taking Sean Brady. No way Leon's taking that fight. Hell no. You remember your first big win or first bet ever? Not really. But I do remember when I hit my first parlay of the entire card where I bet like all the fights on the card, the winners of all the fights, and I got them all right. I remember that because I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm a genius. Turns out it's a lot harder to do that than you. It's a lot harder to do that every time out than you would expect, you know. Kamaru versus Brady would be sick. I'm not gonna lie. Allen as an underdog versus Nemavov or not. Yeah, Imavov. It's not Naimov. Imavov is disrespectful. I see Brendan pulling the French upset. What do you think? I think you're onto something there, bro. But I do think Imavov is pretty damn good. But Brendan Allen, man, Brendan Allen's solid. If he gets that back, it could be wraps. When I watched fights for Contender Series, did anyone seem good? Is this week going to be scrubs? I didn't really think this week there was anybody that great. Nobody that I don't think will be like super good in the UFC. I actually think the main event, both guys kind of suck. There's a couple. I think Elijah Smith could maybe be good. Young guy. Joey Hart, maybe. That's about it. I don't know. This week is kind of thin for talent, honestly. For like what they're gonna do in the UFC. Teixeira is he looks solid, but it doesn't really take too much to be solid in the UFC heavyweight division. But he's a big dude, 6'8", solid power. He should probably win his matchup, but I couldn't find a lot of tape on Arthur Lopez. So, all right, let's get out of here, boys. We're talking about Contender Series now. I got to get in the lab, cook up some plays for that. Get the research done, get a video out to you guys on the YouTube. I appreciate y'all for watching tonight. Sunday Service episode number 24. We just hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. So if you follow me on IG, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the YouTube live. Hit the subscription button for me if you haven't already. Hit the like button for me. Sphere card was pretty sick. Last two fights kind of made it a doozy. But it is what it is. We got another pay-per-view in the books. We got a fight night card coming up in 2 weeks. We got Contender Series on Tuesday, the next 2 Tuesdays before that fight. Before that fight night. So looking forward to that. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back here next Sunday. Hey, Jai Picks. We out.